All right, ready. I haven't made a video of my favorite EDC items that I'm carrying right now in a while. And everything I have on the table right now are kind of like accessories. I could go into clothes and jackets and stuff, and I'm constantly trying stuff and returning things and then just throwing crap away that's just not good quality. Usually I make a point of buying small businesses that things are handmade here in the United States. I don't want mass-produced crap that's made in sweatshops. I want stuff that I know that someone's working hard to make to try to earn a living, and usually when that happens, it's made well. So most of the things I have on this table, with the exception of maybe the watch, was made by hand in the United States. I could be wrong, but I like to believe that. So, but everything on the table is quality and it's held the test of time. And with the exception of the knife, which I just did a video on, everything else I have been using the crap out of. So I'm going to pick my camera up, flip it around, show you the whole table of things, and then I'm going to put it back because I don't have the time to cut and paste, parts of a video back in. This just kind of jumped into my head today when I was using some of this stuff. I'm like, hey, I haven't made one of these videos in a while. So here we go. I'm just going to flip it around and show you the different items that I'm going to be talking about today. And how do you like my tripod for my camera? This is an old sugar, coffee, and flour caddy from, I think, probably like the 70s. I found in a antique shop, and I just loved the kind of the Art Deco look about it. And then this is where I keep my purple drink, my mix for my water, because I get so tired of just drinking water all the time. So here we go. I'm gonna flip this thing around. Here we go. So, what should we start with? Let's start with the hat. Now, I would say this is probably my most worn hat. And this isn't on the list, but I wear this. I didn't make the hat, but I put the patch on the hat. This is a NRA patch. I love the looks of this NRA patch. It's black with yellow around it. And but yeah, I can't find a fitted, well, this isn't really fitted. It's a Flex Fit by Lids. There's a company called Lids. A lot of times you can see them in the mall, but you can order them. But it's a fitted hat, but it's flexible, and the bill is made out of a plastic. So that's how I like my bill. I like a short bill, and I like to be able to wear it backwards, forwards, and I can usually get a good couple solid years of wear out of one of these hats before it gets so stretched out that it's too loose to wear. So I always keep two in my rotation, and of course, I sewed the patch on. Can you believe that? So yeah, I'm always adapting things to fit me if I can't find the specific style that I want. So that wasn't on the list, but I do wear this one, and I have another one just like it that I wear all the time because I just love the way they fit. But let's get into my other hat that I wear all the time. And this is my all leather. This is made by, I got my little crib notes down here. This is made by White Knuckler. Now they are a small business here in the United States. This is an all leather handmade hat. It's called the Highwayman, and this is called Chestnut. But my wife got me this hat for Christmas, and I wear this thing pretty much every day when I'm outside working. It's really started to wear in nice. So there it is on me. I got a big old head, and I think this is an extra large. And the cool thing about it is it has the leather grommet on the back. I did put the little brass bead. Like I said, I gotta modify everything. I can't just leave well enough alone. But that you could take this down. You can take it down to the front, loosen up the bead a little bit. You can put it around your neck and let it hang off the back of your head. But the cool thing about this hat, it's got these really cool, heavy brass beads. And if you're working outside in the rain or in the sun, you can pull it down, and you're not going to get wet. Ooh, get underneath my beard. So I've worn the crap out of this thing. I wear the rain all the time, the sun. If it's really hot, I'll snap it up. I have sweated through the whole thing. There we go. So I've literally sweated through the whole hat. And I just let it dry out. And if it starts to get rough, I like to put boot oil on my leather. I buy, what boots? Shoot, I was just thinking about it, putting my hat back the way it was. There's a specific kind of boot oil that I buy that I do all my boots in. That basically comes with a brush inside. You brush it on, let it sit overnight, and then you wipe the excess off, and it just really softens up the leather. So this one's not quite there where I need it. I like the patina that the leather's starting to get. And I think you can find them on sale for under $100 when they do go on sale. And for a real heavy handmade leather hat like this, that is a steal. And they make some awesome knives. I got a couple of their knives, fixed blade knives. They sell wallets. I got a couple of their wallets too. But just really well-made items for a really cheap price, basically. So if you're in the market for a real nice leather hat to wear outside in the sun, you can't go wrong with the Highwayman from White Knuckler. This is in the chestnut. I think they do make them in a black too, but you can't go wrong with the brown because it just patina is up. Patina, leather, brass, copper. Love it all. That's why I put the bead on the back. I had a wooden one on it, but I took it off, and I just like the look of the brass with the brass snaps on it. So, and you gotta love that leather smell. So there's my hat. And continuing on with that topic, this next topic is gloves, and I have gone through. I couldn't tell you how many pairs of gloves. I ride a motorcycle a lot. I work outside, and actually, my second favorite pair of gloves is actually from White Knuckler, and it's their work gloves. And I have worn the crap out of these things, and I sweat through them to the point they're just dripping wet. And I'll let them dry out. When they harden up, I'll put leather oil on them, and they soften right back up. And super thick leather, and I really work with these gloves. I was just yesterday, I cut down a dead tree in the backyard, and the tree was probably, my bar on my chainsaw is 18, and it barely got through the tree. So at least, 18 inches across tree, and I cut the whole thing down, and I wore those gloves, and I was having to grab the chainsaw sometimes by the blade if I get stuck between the wood or whatever, and didn't cut up the leather or anything. Still look awesome. So go to White Knuckler, check out their work gloves. Those are even cheaper. I think I paid like $35 for those work gloves. And you go to, Home Depot or Lowe's and buy a pair of their crappy gloves. They're still gonna be like $20, $25. And trust me, I'll buy their leather gloves and it'll last me through one session of working outside before I've ripped a hole in them or worn a hole through them. So enough about that. This pair of gloves I bought specifically for riding my motorcycle, or if I'm out and I wanted a pair of nice looking gloves. I'm not going to be necessarily working in them, but just to wear out. I'm going somewhere and I want to keep my hands warm and I want them to look nice. So here are these guys. These are made by a company called Maroon Bell. You can find them on Facebook. They're much lighter in person. They're made out of buffalo hide. So these aren't leather, they're made out of buffalo hide. Buffalo hide is supposed to be a lot stronger than regular leather. And you've seen my mitts, these are a size 12. So if you got big old hands like me, go with the double XL, and I'll show you what they look like on my hands. So they're designed after like the old riding gloves, I think from like the turn of the century, 19th century, like 20s or 30s, the old riding gloves. So yeah, they fit awesome. And I did treat these with oil to darken them up some, and the soft, it was already pretty soft, but it got them even softer. But the big thing was I wanted to darken the leather up because, well, the hide is not leather. I don't know if buffalo leather. I don't know. I don't know if it's just leather, if it comes from an animal, or if it's got to be, you know, whatever. So they're made out of buffalo, and they do have these little patches on the fingers so that you could swipe your phone with the gloves on. I could take that or leave that. I don't mind taking my gloves off to swipe my phone. So I could do without them. I mean, I guess it's a cool little thing to have on them, but I've worn these a ton on my motorcycle. Kept my hands very warm, but I could throw these like in the pocket of a jacket, and I mean, they'll look good, you know, when you're out doing something. You don't necessarily, I mean, I like my work gloves for working, and then I like this kind of thing for riding or, you know, just being out somewhere and my hands are cold. So cannot say enough about these gloves. I have bought so many pair of gloves that said that they were of quality, and when I got them, they literally fell apart soon after. But I can just tell the stitching on these, and just being that it is buffalo hide, really well made. And if you go, you can find them on Facebook, as you can, White Knuckler, and they're running sales on them all the time. I think I might have paid 50 or 60 bucks for these, and their customer service is really good. So definitely check them out. Maroon Bell, if you're looking for a pair of really good gloves, and they fit snug. Whatever size you normally wear, I'd go with a size up because they are form-fitting. I think these are the biggest ones they make. And anyway, I got big hands, but I was very happy with them. So I think the only thing that I can say for sure on the table, it wasn't made in America, but it's definitely my favorite. And I've gone over this thing. This is my watch. This is my G-Shock Rangeman. I put the little cage around the face, and it has saved it a few times. It's already all the paint's chipped off because I wear the crap. I mean, I have a ton of watches, but I always pull this one down. I just love it. I mean, I love that it's a solar powered watch. I never have to worry about setting the date. It does have it goes into reserve. If I set it on my stand, it will turn itself off to save the battery from constant use. I mean, I just think that's a badass looking watch, and to have as big a wrist as I do, it just looks good on my wrist. Most watches look like I'm wearing like a child's watch. So good size watch, and it's definitely my go-to, definitely my favorite. And I've got some high-end watches, but if I'm just going to wear a watch that I know I can depend on, it's going to be the G-Shock Rangeman. So there's the watch. All right, so I'm going to move into men's jewelry. I do like to occasionally wear some rings. I wear some necklaces. I got a bracelet that I made. And the necklaces, I'm going to go over the first one here. They're brass, handmade by a company called Maritime Supply Company. It's kind of like naval inspired stuff. Again, you can find them on Facebook. And this is just a brass block, and it says Steadfast on it. Now, I'm not going to go over well, I guess I could. This is not the chain that came with it. It came with just a regular like ball chain, and I'm so hard on everything that I own that I kept breaking the chain. I'd grab it by accident, rip it, so it kept breaking. So I did a little research on what was the strongest chain that you could buy, and wheat chain apparently is the strongest chain there is, regardless of the metal you're using, because it's a bunch of interwoven chains basically. Now what I ended up doing was I went on eBay and I found a company that sold brass wheat chain, and I bought it by the foot. I bought 5 feet of it. This is 3 millimeter chain, which is still a really heavy duty chain, and it fit through the Steadfast brass block that I really like. I'm actually going to get a tattoo of Steadfast at some point. I have a son in the Navy, so just, you know, all my tattoos have some connection to something meaningful in my life. But enough about that. Anyway, so I got the chain, and then I was like, well, how can I put a clasp on it? Because a clasp oftentimes is the weakest length. So what I ended up doing is I bought a while back a bunch of brass keychains, but in the pack they gave me these itty bitty ones. I mean, dinky. But what I did was I wove the chain through it, and so that it would go all the way through, and it made a really good clasp. Because let me see if I got it kind of looped up on here. I'll show you on the other one. So you can see how I got them all. I gotta unwind it. I've been hanging this from my shelf in my bedroom. But anyway, I have it clasped on there so that it's basically can't break. And then this is the other one. This is another. It's a Navy. It's a naval anchor, and on the back side it says "Hold Fast." Now, and it's starting to patina up. I mean, it's got that green, you know, film that copper and brass get, but that's fine with me. I don't clean any of this stuff. So yeah, I took the 5 feet and I cut 1 to 3 feet, which is that one, and the other one to 2 feet. So I wear them both at the same time. One's 3 foot long, one's 2 foot long, and the chain was super cheap, but this stuff, it patinaed up really nice, and it's super strong, so you don't have to worry about it breaking. So that's my necklaces that I'm wearing now. I have a bunch, but those are just the two. Everything on the table is like my favorite things that I have right now. So, and then I did make this, my wife and I made it for both of us. Basically just a piece of copper that I pounded down, and then inside, I don't know if you can see, but I stamped in the coordinates of a camp that we have, a family camp that's up in Maine on a lake up there. So it's just the coordinates. So eventually I want to get the coordinates as a tattoo. My wife has the coordinates already as a tattoo, but I want to do it. So actually this is the only time I've taken this thing off. I don't ever take it off. So that one stays on that wrist all the time, never comes off, and it's patinaed up nice. I'm constantly looking for a cuff. Like, there's a couple companies that make cuffs, but when I get them, I can't see how they would fit around a baby's arm. I've had to return so many of them because they're like all made for women or dudes with these little bitty wrists. So I end up making this one to fit my wrist. So that's that. And then I have a couple rings. Well, actually got a ton of rings, but these right now are my 3 go-tos. The first one is made by a company called Silver State Foundry. And what that is, it is a Morgan silver dollar that has been hand rolled into a ring. So the middle of the ring was cut out, and then they rolled it into a ring. This thing, the video can't do it justice, but it is an absolutely beautiful ring. And there are a lot of companies that fake it. They'll send you a ring that they say they made out of a silver dollar or whatever. But go with Silver State Foundry. Again, you can find them on Facebook. They're always running sales, especially on the Morgan silver dollars rings. But this is something, like many things you buy, it's never going to lose its value. I mean, it's solid silver and it's made out of a silver dollar, but it just looks so cool. And it's patinaed up real nice. I can't remember what size this one is. I think this one might be a 13 or a 14. But again, love wearing this thing. So that's, and I didn't get that too long ago. I guess maybe 6 months ago, but I wear the crap out of that. Now, the next company that I love to buy rings and stuff from is a company called, let me see if I can find it, Clocks and Colors. And that's Colors with an OU. are, and all of their stuff is custom made. It's all made out of either silver and gold or silver and brass, and it's all super heavy. Like here is one of my favorite rings. It's got my favorite Lucifer on it, and on one side it has the cross, and on the other side it has it inverted, and the whole ring is made out of silver, and then it has brass inlay. So this thing's super heavy, and their prices for this stuff is not bad at all. I mean, they were always running sales too, and that's usually how I buy stuff, is I wait for it to go on sale and then I buy it. And then I've got this guy. I wish I could remember the names of them, but if you go to the website, I'm sure they're still on there. Clocks and Colors. So this is it's like a Viking inspired ring. It has a shield on the front, and it has Thor's hammer on both sides. Again, heavy silver with brass inlays. And again, just super heavy jewelry. If you're into that sort of thing, and I am, love it. So those are, like I said, I got a ton of different styles from these companies. But these are just some examples of my favorite, and these 3 rings are probably the ones I wear the most. So that's that. Let's move on. This is more EDC-esque. I'm getting into my basic things I've been carrying. My favorite, I always carry a lighter, and this is a brass lighter, and it's really patinaed up. And what I did with this is I put a butane insert in it. I love my normal, gas-filled lighters, but it evaporates after a few days, and definitely not a reliable source of fire if you need it. But these butane inserts, they're airtight, and the butane's going to stay in it much longer, and it's super hot, so you could start a fire really fast, and you can't tell. I mean, you just take the guts out of a regular Zippo lighter and put those in, and I put the butane inserts in my 2 favorite ones, which probably you could guess is the copper, which is not this one. This is brass, but I have a copper one, and then I have the brass one. And I always have a lighter in my pocket. I don't smoke cigarettes, but I do like an occasional pipe. And the purists will be like, you don't light a pipe with a lighter. Well, I do. So there you go. So let's move on to my box opener. I remember seeing this online, and I'm like, this is one of those items where I'm like, why couldn't I invent this? This is so simple. I've used box cutters for years, the big clunky ones, but then I saw this guy, and I had to have this one. And this is the TPT slide in a stone-washed titanium. I did put the little lanyard on it with, you guessed it, a brass bead. And I just put a really cheap little razor blade in it, and I keep this in what's called the 5th pocket on my jeans. It's the pocket watch pocket. So I wear a lot of Levi's 501s, or most style pants I wear have that 5th pocket. So I stick that in that 5th pocket, and this is my go-to for opening like mail or boxes. I don't want to dull my good blades. I can easily use this side of this one, and it pops. What's great about the TPT slide is it's one-handed, and the blade comes out pretty easy. A lot of the other razor blade style knives like this, they're really hard to get the blade out, and they're not one-handed. Just a very simple design, really well made, titanium. The clip's awesome. It's not going to come out of your pocket, and I can use one side of the razor blade, take it out, flip it around, and use the other side, and one razor blade is going to last me a long time for just opening boxes or mail or whatever. So that's always in my pocket. You'll never know it's there, but I can't say enough about the titanium stonewash finish on this thing. Awesome. So leading into also titanium, or let me flip this thing around first. This is my little caddy that I carry my knife, and I have a comb, beard comb in there, and then I've got my field notes in the back. I have to write everything down. Can't remember anything, so, and I hate to put things, like some people like, oh, put it in your phone. I'm like, well, what happens if I lose my phone? Well, they say, well, what happens if you lose your field notes? I'm like, touche, but I'd rather lose something. I'd rather use, I mean, you lose something, you lose it, but I'd rather have it written down. It's just in my mind, peace of mind, I'd rather have it written down, and you can see how hard I am on these things. I couldn't even tell you all the different lists of stuff I got in there, but the good thing about this is I can stick it on the back here. And then I got my 2 spots in the front. I've gone over this guy so many times. I would be so heartbroken if I ever lost this guy, because I don't think they're made anymore. It's made by a company called Hudson Designs, I think. It was a small company. I think they were veterans, and they made these different types of tactical beard combs, solid stainless steel. The clip on that thing is just amazing. Got a bottle opener on it. It came with the lanyard with the little brass beads, and I gotta tell you, that's probably what got me in the brass, with those beads on that thing. I bought this thing probably 7 years ago. And I'm like, how cool does that look? They engraved it with the serial number. Just such a simple thing could be that cool. And it's indestructible. I mean, this is heirloom quality stuff on the table here. I mean, the kind of stuff that you'll just hand down to someone. You're never gonna break it or wear it out. And that is my beard comb for when I'm out somewhere and I just need to, like, touch it up. It's always with me. That goes in this one pocket right here. And I just did a video on this guy. Happens to fit in the other pocket perfectly. Is my Chris Reeves in Cozy in Singo. Also in Stonewash Titanium. I put a titanium bead on this one with the leather lanyard and the snake knot. And I haven't really had a lot of time with this knife, but I can tell I'm gonna love it. And I love that it fits right down into this little caddy from Hitch and Timber. So I throw this in my back pocket. It goes in my left back pocket. So I just slide it right in. Don't even know it. I can sit on it. Doesn't seem to bother me at all. And the leather on this thing is patinaed up so nice. So if you haven't checked out Hitch and Timber, check out their different caddies. I can't remember the name of what these were. They may not even make them anymore. I've had it for a little over probably 2 years now. But just an awesome little thing, and it looks cool. So that's that. And then moving on to almost through all my stuff. This is taking a long time. I do tend to ramble. So got this little guy right here, and it has it's another little caddy to have my flashlight. This is it's not my brightest one by far, but this is probably my favorite little flashlight. This is the Prometheus QR, meaning quick release. And it did have a little like key ring on it, but for just a little more extra, you can get the clip. So I don't know why it doesn't come with the clip. You gotta pay extra for it, but it's patinaed up nice. It's fairly bright for a AAA battery. I like that you can just throw a AAA in there. You don't have to have a special battery. If it does go dead, you can find it at the drugstore. That slides right in there. And then the last thing in here is my raw brass Fisher Space Pen. Again, can't go wrong. What a simple design. Writes everywhere, underwater, upside down, everything. So I just slide that boy in there, all patinaed up. And then last, I always have a handkerchief. I do fold it, I'll show you. You fold it in half or into a triangle. Then I kind of fold it over, then like this, fold it down, and then I put it in my pocket so it kind of hangs out the back like this so I can grab it. And some people are handkerchief snobs. They'll buy really expensive ones. I think I got these at REI online. They're made in America though. And I got like a blue, a black, green, and a red one. And they weren't super expensive, and I just rotate through them. But I always need a handkerchief. If I need to tell you why you need a handkerchief, then you probably don't have one. But there's a million reasons to have one. But that's for another video. But anyway, there we have it. My most favorite EDC things right now that I basically have on me every day. And I have a million more, but those are what I'm most using right now and think are the coolest. So anyway, thanks for watching. Later.